South in the spectrum events, murderous events. Good South, the longer warrior, not bad South. Get ready room for hell. Untethered hatred, sky aflame, stars aligned for the non-rational, desponded map down under. A long forgiving, a long forgiving, then reckoning. Long, who forgive? Would she, would they, would he, mothers and fathers forgive? See the big picture, ethno-historical days, a sum we do, holy ritual and turning. We do secular ritual and turning. We continue you, dear murder. This is domestic terrorism. Holy, dark continent in the cross, dream of liberation, in collective groan, longer grow. Vision, prehistory. You want psyche? You cross a world together. Sing of victims and crime. You curse, you will not sing. You must not sing. Then must sing the evil down. Sing centuries unmitigated. Private, 100-year plan, 1,000-year plan, withers, without your spirit. And all go down, and all go down, and all go down. What genocide? Any room for art? And the Navajo poet lowers his head. Children, he says, in this time so sad, it roads me away. It roads me away. Room for poetry this time. Sorry, hominid. What? Sorry. Walls you were up against, all, murder, detail, all of it. Oh, come, Emmanuel. Oh, come, could tell, rupture, scream. Oh, come, Emmanuel. And ransom could tell it's over us. Wash, come over. Leaders, young man dead in his time. How they lie in blood, washed in the blood. Oh come, that rip, structure of rip. The architectures that won't work, that rot, renewal, all the saints in heaven disappearing, erased, all the saints in heaven down on their knees for this. This is domestic terrorism. Apotheosis, The 9, assumption of bodies, too familiar, lift innocence when you go to slaughter, broke down degeneration. This is, oh come, this is, oh come, up against the screen. Pressurizing brain and mount, ghosts beg for light, mount in the heat, pile up bodies of atrocity. Pressurizing brain and mount, ghosts begging for light, mount in the heat, pile up on the heart, layers of atrocity in the house of the Lord. What law will bind, hold back, slaughter of innocents? Oh, you syndicates of samsara, that breed genocide, proud genocide, flag of murder in collective groan, longer groan, longer groan. Room for poetry. Cynthia Hurd, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lance, Reverend DePayne, Middleton Doctor, Honorable Reverend Clementa Pinckney, Taiwanza Sanders, Reverend Daniel Simon Sr., Reverend Sharonda Singleton, Myra Thompson. For rest, you rest now. No. For succor arrive, then rest now. No, wait up now. And they never say coming, then they arrive. Blood and twin to the universe, always chaos. Arrive. How many guns can you buy today? How many guns can you buy today? Locked in a cabin's chaos, like a fever, a cosmos of endarkenment. Mask, yours or mine, turning around as a word in the mouth. Sobs, trying to get out. Oh, take it out. Oh, sob me a river. Oh, come. Oh, come. Language is biodegradable. Oh, gone south. Rotted man inside takes it all down, and all go down, Oh, come. Legions of terrorism, infernal, inborn terrorism. Wake up, arrive, American soil saturated with the blood tribal. These are the holders, will hold, they will hold. Oh, blessings, oh, dark land, come, hold, oh, dark land, come, help me, Jesus. Help us, Jesus. Help us, Buddha. Help us, Yahweh. Help us, Mohammed. Help us, Brahma. Help us, Confucius. On the way. When will the killing stop? Memory. Dear mentors, mentor recounted his origins and names, deliberate contradictions, certain rhetoric. He was a character. No, he wasn't paper thin. He was on paper. Never say that about mentor. Thick. No, he was as salt. Necessary. He was terrifying earnestness. And you mean rested in it? Rested in earnestness? Did he test you? Did he mimic you? I can't go into the desk's hole punch. Too brittle, certainly tested. Try me, he'd say, mentor. Am I your mentor? But maybe he goes far and stumbles over the trials of try me, muddy, resist, purpose, suffer demise if the person is thrifty, spinning central axles, how person may only hold white gloves for so long, another century, that kind of slogan or service, pedagogy, how scholar is torn to pieces, if not mapped already, stand around a vicinity and you'll see, oh, kin of erotic, my community, my manifest, my manifestation. And then mentor was to move and to be and to become and to be a woman. Reiteration, central content. Mentor for a woman is the same atmosphere as obstinacy. I want my own shoulder. It figures in the puncture. Her, my category. Stand or fall in front of the overblown detail. What mentor meant to think I mean. Mentors, is that what you thought to mean? And she was she's, and she was she's, and she were many. Memory in the mechanism of concealment. I am needed by things as the sky must be above the earth, and lately so great has their anxiety become, I can spare myself little sleep. Frank O'Hara, Meditations in an Emergency. And for all the women, whereby we investigate memory. Investigate memory. Invoke Georges Perec's memories of what childhood established the new avant derrière. I live in a house of alarm, and these doings, investigations, and interventions are the antidote to rage, as well as constituting palpable gestures of reconciliation into public space. They are projects and projects and projectiles of memory and attention. Memory. Can you talk about Daniel Hebb? No. Can you talk about Donald Hebb? Donald Hebb was a Canadian psychologist who was interested in neuroscientific explanations of how memory was stored. In 1949, in the Organization of Memory, he suggested that memory could be stored by changes in the strength of connection between neurons. His idea had two parts. One, when we have an experience of thought, a particular sequence of neural activity takes place of all the possible combinations, a specific path through the tangle of connections in the brain. The sequence, the specificity, the sequence occurs because one neuron activates another neuron, and so on in a chain reaction. A kicks B, who then kicks C, who then kicks D, who then kicks E. The activity is somehow able to strengthen the connections between the neurons. If two neurons, A and B, are connected in the sequence, and if A fired before B, then the connection joining A and B would be strengthened. Neuroscientists now call this Hebb's postulate. Hard evidence came in 1973 when Tim Bliss and Turjay Lomo discovered long-term potentiation. Long-term potentiation. A phenomenon in which a neural pathway gets stronger when many shocks are delivered to it at once, like a tetanus, like a trauma. Hebb's idea was advanced for 1949, but others had thought of similar ideas before him. William James, founder of modern psychology and a brother of Henry James, suggested something called the law of neural habit. It was the same idea, except he did not use the word neuron. He just said that a pathway would be strengthened. He said it better than that. In fact, Aristotle said something reminiscent of this, except it was in terms of one thought following another in a natural progression. If only those old Greeks had had microscopes. And so what is the latest in LTP? Long-term potential
right here,
investigation.
Here to
Now, what is in this new term, this long-term, this long-term potentiation, is that it is studied by thousands and thousands of laboratories. Often the way it's done is to take bits of tissue out of the brains of animals. The animals are euthanized first and put the tissue in a dish where the tissue stays alive for many hours. Another way to do it is how Bliss and Lomo did it, which is in a living animal. Here's a living animal, seeing objects, sights, arts, people through the lens of Guantanamo. And in that building, New York, every frayed wire as well as the dark plunging staircase, naked light bulbs and so forth seemed part of a projected state of mind of Guantanamo. Took pictures of these objects and places outside the door, the home as it was, the place as it was, the workspace as it was, as well as things immediately on and at hand, a collaboration with Schneemann that includes the slogan, no blood for oil, no blood for oil. An Afghani war rug with helicopter and Kalashnikov, images from a scholarly book on Islam. I also went to my music collection for the Kahn brothers, Ed Blackwell, and the late, great Don Cherry, who composed a piece honoring Kulthum, the legendary Egyptian singer. Neither Kulthum or Cherry alive. No, they are alive. They are a living body in sound. I want to re-invoke their artistic spirit and gaze. Mother, Arabia. Frequently we exoticize, we orientalize.
She says in a Polaroid
Edward Said,
frame,
the Middle Eastern other. There's one familiar media shot. At the very end, a prisoner at Guantanamo in orange monkey suit. A designated, denigrated victim. The question arises about how we use the images of others suffering, often photographs of anonymous victims, anonymous animals, anonymous victims, considering how they have no recourse to response. This was a full metal jacket. This was a uniform of control. This was a working family. The blue line held work, the long blue line held teal, held maroon. The gray held a crown of subtlety. There was no need for royalty here. Lineage was dangerous, reeks of privilege, of scorn. The intellect kept dreaming, or did it? Red ink, right hand to ink you away. Red ink against you to make deportation, to mark you for your life. In spite of beautiful gaze of where you are from, which is vast, where you are from, where you are from, where are you from, where you are from, where are you from? The skyline, the orchard, the alley, the camp, the road, the desert, whole anthropological worlds. And where is the intellect from? Is it green, the color of sunset, of straw? What other world is it? How may I get there? How far away is it from here? Trapped in Guantanamo in a dead zone. How far in yellow? How far in mauve? This was an orange monkey suit. This was a lone white towel. This was a cup of water, of dark gruel. This was a wire cage. This was not a colorful rug for prayer. Cold, bare ground. I take seriously the notion of impunities and its attendant gestures, exemption from punishment. No justice, no peace, no justice, no peace is painful. Exemption from injury or loss as a consequence of action or security is painful. Impunities in this land that makes us crazy. A veritable relentless, relentless, a psyops over all our heads, and an ultimate loss of security. Foxes in the henhouse, foxes in the henhouse, you better wake up. And we, the people, the victimized ends.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Humiliation and injustice people feel in the face of arrogant Western hegemony that leads to depression and acts of violence. Our thug style. Perhaps these insults are partially responsible for the growing power of the Israel-Palestine, so critical. Without nurturing a viable solution for peace, no progress will be made in reconciliation. In reconciliation, sorry, poor hominid. We are accused of terrorism if we defend the rose and a woman and the mighty verse and the blueness of sky, a domination, a dominion, nothing left therein, no water, no air, no tent, no camel, and not even dark Arabic coffee. We are accused of terrorism if we write of a ruined homeland, the ruins of a homeland torn, weakened, a homeland without an address, and a nation with no name, a homeland forbidding is from buying us a newspaper or listening to the news. We are accused of terrorism if we refuse to die with Israel's bulldozers, tearing our land, tearing our history, tearing our evangelium, tearing our Quran, tearing the graves of our prophets. If this was our sin, then lo, how beautiful terrorism is. America against the culture of the peoples with no culture, against the civilizations of the civilized with no civilization. America, a mighty edifice with no walls. We are accused of terrorism if we defend our land in the honor of dust. I am with terrorism if it is able to free people from tyrants and tyranny, if it is able to save man from the cruelty of man, to return the lemon, the olive tree, and the bird to the south of Lebanon, and the smile back to Golan. I am with terrorism, with all my poetry, with all my words and all my teeth, as long as this new world is in the hands of a butcher. I am with terrorism, as long as this new world order wants to slaughter my offspring and send them to the dogs. For all this, I raise my voice high. I am with terrorism. I am with terrorism. Nizar Kabani, Syria. Memory. What about timing in these sequences? People have found that Heb had every right to say this in a detailed way. If A fires right before B by less than 20 milliseconds, this connection gets stronger. If the order is reversed, the connection gets weaker. So timing is very important, which makes sense because the idea is to reward specific sequences. Oh, sob me a river. Oh, sorry. At first, LTP happens because moleculars get sent to the synapse to make the stronger response. Then LTP gets cemented in by physical changes in the synapse, such as changes in the structure of synapses or even the formation of new synapses. There is thought to be a lot of movement in the brain on a very small scale, dendrites sticking out into new little nubs called spines, which form connections with other neurons, axons. If you could see it, it would look like a large crowd viewed from far above, some milling around, others not. As poet, one imagines with language, investigation, dream, new old forms of subjectivity, suffering, daisy cluster bombs, bomblets. One means of resisting dominant modes of representation is the ongoing poem as an open system, a dissipative structure. Forgetting to forget injustice, remember, remember. And symbolic poverty, remember, remember, hardly symbolic in many quarters. Maybe an even more powerful form of rebellion. Who are they? The subjugated must be remembered, remember, remember. I invoke the avant-derrière as a postmodern solution, as a postmodern solution, as an ironical stand against the willful, theoretical denial in elitist literary zones of discourse, of decoursing, of discourse. Memory to pivot from, Georges Perec's W, or the memory of childhood, is an extraordinary and salient example of the force of counter-memory or parallel memory or imagination's other place. By creating this terrifying utopia, on the one hand, which mirrors the Nazi state, Perec is able to enlarge one's understanding and the perception of the real fascist regime. He interpolated parallel universes as a reconstruction of his own life, and memory is the antidote, although the shards of his own experience lie under the shadow of the actual Holocaust, Perec having lost family members to its horrors. One of these texts is entirely imaginary. It is an adventure story, an arbitrary but careful reconstruction of a childhood fantasy.
Sorry, nothing. Sorry, nothing.
A tale lacking in exploits and memories, made up of scattered oddments, gaps, lapses, doubts, guesses, and meager anecdotes. Next to it, the adventure story is rather grandiose or maybe dubious, for it begins to tell one tale, then all of a sudden launches into another. In this break, in this split, suspending the story on an unidentifiable expectation can be found in the point of departure for the whole, the whole of the book.
They do not appear.
What is the identity of memory?
Anxiety.
Anxiety.
Do not increase or decrease.
I remember.
Therefore,
Emergency. Replay.
Emptiness. No
I perform, I write, I perform, I write from the site of charnel ground, the traditional boneyard, both literal and psychologically. This imago reckons the place where birth and death entwine, where jackals come to feed off the victuals of corpses, to feed, to dismember.
No ears.
Will you be able to remember? Also similar to the jackal's wedding, conjured by Iraqi poet Sadi Youssef on summer nights in southern Iraq. In order to recover from the day's heat, people sleep outside. Their peace is disturbed by a conclave of noisy jackals. And the jackals came, and the jackals came, feed, and the jackals came, and the jackals came.
And so forth, until the no realm of consciousness, mine, your isness.
Write, perform, write, perform. Are we filled with a deep foreboding? But don't allow yourself to become submerged in despair. Continue to hope and don't, Perec said, while recalling misdemeanors from the past as a caution to criminals of today. Alert readers to the punishment that before those who remain silent and become accessories. Remember, I write, I perform. Constantly shift through the body parts, sift through the body parts, through the increments and dismemberments of our democracy, our maimed limbs of equality, truth, justice, the abused bits of our
belly well, bed of coal, made of wood,
and the jackals came. And the jackals came, and the jackals came, sift through the body parts. Perform, living. A beatnik living, a beatnik living, a beat, lift, living. A beat, lift, living. Pressure of high alert, and all go down. Manipulated, I remember, I notice, I write, I perform against a backdrop of SAP and DARPA. And the jackals came.
Stuck in your cave.
Speak about the different systems. The brain has multiple systems for storing memory. One system is for fear-inducing events and is capable of searing in a memory after just one bad experience. The system uses the amygdala. And there are other systems. For instance, the hippocampal temporal lobe system stores facts, events, and navigation, all wrapped up in one system. These things seem to share in common the idea of a narrative. So what is it? So we have a brainstem for storing narratives and stories, and what are they? Memory can be stored with more salience if we have reason to be very attentive.
I tried applying that to the Vietnam War in terms of stopping the bombing, thinking that it was such a basic form, it would be a way to get attention in large rallies and
I
also
don't
get
think the
across a
exact
very simple
reasons
message.
are well known,
wandering
at least
around in
biochemically.
peace
One
rallies
idea is
over
that the
a 2-year
adrenaline that
period,
flows
I
when we are
evolved the
excited
chant.
does something to brain chemistry to allow memories to be written down more
bomb?
clearly.
We bombed them. Whom bomb? We bombed them.
What do you
Whom
mean by
bomb?
reward? All
We
those
bombed
phrases
them.
I wrote. Let's
Whom
see, when I
bomb?
wrote reward
We bombed them.
specific
Whom
sequences, I
bomb?
think what I
We
meant was
bombed
that
them.
when a
Whom
particular sequence
bomb?
of events
We
happens,
bombed
such as
them.
neuron
Whom
1
bomb?
firing, then
We
neuron
bombed
2,
them.
then neuron
Whom
3,
bomb?
this is
In the
likely to
womb.
be because
Whom
some
bomb?
combination of
In
world
the
events
tomb.
and
Whom
the ever
bomb?
ready,
We bombed
always,
them.
all,
Whom
all,
bomb?
all,
We
and
bombed
all,
them.
and
Whom
all,
bomb?
already, and
Whom
all,
bomb?
and ever,
Bombay.
all, already
Bombay.
existing connections
Whom
among the
bomb?
neurons
Whom
trigger that
bomb?
order of firing,
Whom
and if the
bomb?
connections are
Whom
strengthened, the sequence can
Whom
happen by itself
Whom
even
whom?
without
We bomb.
world
bomb.
events.
What do
This
we
is the
do?
leading
We bomb.
hypothesis for how we
bomb
remember
them,
things,
and them.
how we
What do we do?
experience
We bomb.
an
We bomb
event.
them, you, and you. What do you do? We bomb. We bomb.
First to be born were the Yiban,
we
small
do?
creatures with big heads,
you
discolored
do?
bodies, and
What do
frail
you do?
limbs who, for
What do you do
shame
about
of
the
their
bombs?
condition,
What do you
hide in the
bomb?
holes of
What
the
do we
earth.
do?
They
What do we
couple
do?
and give
What do we
birth
do?
to
What do
the
you do? What do
Odumbulu, who are
What do
even
we
smaller
do?
than they
What do
are.
we-
All
what do
these
we- what do we-
beings,
what do we-
born
what do we-
single,
what do
all
we-
these incestuous
what do we-
beings
we-
like
we- we-
Ogo,
we-
his
we-
progenitor,
we-
a Yiban
we-
male
we-
coupled with his
we-
daughter,
what do we-
an
what do we- 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 what do we-
woman. This, the
what do we-
Earth's
what do we-
interior, became slowly populated with these beings, were the very first to attest to Ogo's failure and his lost twinness. The epic poet traditionally speaks for the psychic time, sometimes for people, sometimes a whole age. What is the mission here when 90 million people in their own nation don't vote? How can you speak in a fractured society no one can agree upon how it might run? It ran, it runs, its history. Modernism's impulse to defer the end of history, both as telos and terminus, is central to Beverly Dolan's drafts. Writing a kind of history, a history of the end in which all knowledge is temporary or tentative, unremembered, censored or distorted, lapsed, smashed, decayed. The figure of the writer picking through the detritus is associated metonomically with the fractured parts of the world, the fractured parts of speech, the fractured departed, the fractured dead, and the act of postponement, which written in some sense always is when written, which writing all is, which is act of postponement. She reclaims the space. She he reclaims space. Poems, dense and discursive, cast a long shadow. Cast a long shadow, congruent with the writer's, the reader's whole sense of reality.
Stop.
Reality.
Stop.
Thank you so much, Julie Patton. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Devin, Brahja.